Okay, we are going to talk about your project's presentation board now. So, scientists, when you find information, you need to be able to communicate that to people. And a common way of communicating is to make a presentation. Now, this is going to be on a poster board. You picked up a poster board 3 or 4-ish weeks ago in your packet pickup. Hopefully you've been saving that somewhere safe. It's like the kind you had for your gallery night poster, so a big white blank poster. Now's the time to get that out. Scientists share information in lots of ways nowadays. We're going to use a poster. Sometimes they go to conferences and they give speeches. Sometimes they just make a YouTube video. Sometimes they write a paper and then you need to read it. There's lots of different ways to share information. We're going to do it this way. Okay? So, now that you have completed your experiment, you will begin setting up your display board to communicate the results of your experiment to others. Sorry, had a pop-up. Remember, the board is graded. I'm not grading it as strictly as normal, but it's on the information you present, not how beautiful it is. So make sure you have all your information. Of course, I always like when things look nice too. But it's more important that your information is correct than that it is rainbow, teal, and pink sparkle unicorns. Your display board needs to have all of the following components located in the same places. So, I did say this is an example of how you can do yours. You do not have to do it this exact way, but I think it is a good way, and I would recommend it. If you have a different way you'd like to do it, that's okay. Just make sure you have every single piece on there. Other things, your font should be easy to read, and at least that's if you're printing it. If you're handwriting it, just make sure that it's easy to read. Remember how we've talked about posters this year? Your heading should be the biggest for your title, then your writing. Your writing should not be like it's on a piece of notebook paper because it'll be too small. So make sure that it's big enough to read and that you space it out. Your photos should not have faces of people. That's just like a thing because you're supposed to ask for permission to get people's faces. If you want to put your own face on it, that's fine. This isn't a super big deal because we're not sharing these on the internet, so I don't think you need to worry about this too much. We're only going to share with our class. We've already seen each other's faces, so there's no secret there. And then your information can be typed or written. So it says, use the poster you received at packet pickup. And it has it divided kind of into 3 sections. We have in the center, your title or your question. Some photos of you doing your project or drawings of your project. We have the graph. Your results, this is written. Conclusion, written. Hypothesis, your keywords and your research, your procedures and your material list. Okay? All of these things you wrote in here. So you'll use this like your rough draft, and you'll write the final copy. Now, if you look back at our due date chart in the beginning of our orange book, you'll see that we have 3 days to do the poster part. So you don't need to do the whole thing in one day. Space it out, okay? And think about your 3 days. On the 11th, this is our last day of school. It is a Thursday. On the 11th, which is our last day of school, you will either need to upload a picture to Google Classroom to turn it in, or I am hoping we will be able to schedule a science video chat, and you can bring it and share it that way as well. Okay? I'll let you know about that pretty soon here. Okay? If you have any questions about putting your poster together, please feel free to ask. This is kind of our last step. This is the last part of science this year. I hope you guys had a good year in science. We learned a lot. We did a lot of really fun things, and I had a really fun year with you. And I cannot wait to see your final copies of your projects.